everybody, it's Allison. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of the fun new releases from Spellbinders called Buon Appetito. But stick with me till the end because I'm going to share a couple of cards that I have been working on with another new collection. As some of you may know, Spellbinders releases collections on the 10th of every month. So let's take a look at this first one. So this is the Pasta Friends set, and look at all the little pastas. It's just so cute. There's a little chef's hat, there's feet, or legs and arms, and little mushrooms. There's a fork. I mean, it's just too cute. All right, now this set is called Ingredients Buddies, and there's a tomato, there's an onion, there is a meatball, and there's cheese. So we're going to start with the card base. This is the new Linear Touch Rectangle set. This is part of the Happier Hour collection. And the biggest die cuts an A2 size, and then these smaller ones, they have mats. So those slightly larger dies cut mats for these. Now, you might think these look familiar, and they do look very similar to the Fluted Classics rectangles, which are retired now. But these didn't have cutting edges, so you had to use this outline die to cut a panel. So I like these new ones better because you just use the one die and it cuts out the rectangle without having to use these outer pieces. But they are very similar. All right, so here's the card that we're going to be making. And this is my ode to Kraft macaroni and cheese, which was such a staple for me growing up. And for all my pastas today, I am using the Sun-Kissed Delights quad of inks from Altenew. I recently swatched these, so I knew they would be perfect for pasta. I'm starting with Peachy Glow, and that's mainly what I'm going to be using for all the pasta today. And I'm coming in with Golden Honeycomb just to come in around the edges. And it's just so cute. Who doesn't love pasta? All right, so this little guy is done for the most part. We'll finish up his facial features in a bit. But while I have this ink out, I'm going to start on the cheese. So I am sticking with this Golden Honeycomb, and I'm going to color I guess you can call it his face. And I'm getting a little heavier on the outer edges. And now I'm going to pull in, I guess, his body. And I'm going to put a coat of this color all over this piece. Then I'm going to come in with that third color, which is Amber Blaze. And obviously getting quite a bit darker. Now you could obviously cut all of these from yellow cardstock or ivory cardstock, whatever color you want your pasta to be. But I liked ink blending these guys. You could make green and red colored pasta too. They have colored pasta. All right, so he is done. And here I have cut the legs and arms out of black cardstock, and they're just so cute. All right, now let's finish these up, the facial features. I have a second piece of macaroni where I left the cheeks in, and I'm just putting tape on the back. And now I'm coloring the cheeks from the original piece, and now I can glue these two layers together. And I can go ahead and glue in my eyes. Now, Spellbinders does include this little piece that you can cut out of pink cardstock or whatever color you want your cheeks to be, and it goes behind this piece. That's obviously a much easier and faster way of doing it, but I generally don't like sunken cheeks or facial features, so that's why I always do it this way. I like popping them back in so that they're kind of level with the rest of the face. So in case I went too quick before, I used Kitsch Flamingo to color these cheeks. Now for the mouth, I did what I always do, and I colored it with my black marker. So all these pieces were white originally, remember, because I started with a white die cut. Now here's the Stay Saucy stamp set, and look at how many sentiments you get in this set. There are some cute macaroni sentiments, like sending macaroni kisses, or there's a cute one with you, life's never plain pasta. But I had another sentiment in mind even before I started making this card. And it's from a retired set from Picket Fence Studios. It just had the perfect sentiment, but it is on one long line, and I want to break it up to 2 lines. But I don't want to cut the stamp, so I'm going to show you my new way of doing partial stamping. So I'm putting my paper in my little MISTI, and I have my acetate as always. So I'm just going to ink up the first part of this sentiment, and I'm going to situate or position my paper so that I'll be able to fit both lines of my sentiment, and so that it's centered with this piece of paper. So I'm just making sure that I like how it looks. Now there's a little part on the very edge of this paper where the second part of the sentiment would stamp. So I'm just being careful, and I'm putting washi tape over that part of the paper. And that's the trick here. Usually when I used to partial stamp, I would put washi on top of the stamp, and then I would ink up the stamp, but then you have to remember to remove the washi. And then if you have to restamp it, it just gets to be a pain, right? So here I have the second part of my sentiment, which was the second half of this long sentiment. And I lined it up, moved, because this acetate is clinging to my grip mat, it's not going to move. So I know that my stamp is going to stamp in the same place. So again, I covered what I didn't want to stamp with washi tape, but I covered the paper, not the stamp. And it's just so much easier, especially if you're going to have to repeat stamp. All right, now here's the finished card. You'll see that I trimmed down that sentiment and I matted it with red, which is, again, an ode to the craft logo that you would see on the mac and cheese box. I originally had these guys on just the plain blue panel, but I just thought it looked too plain, so I did bring in this gingham panel, and it's still, you can still see those, I guess you call them fluted edges on the side, so you still get the benefit of this, of the detail of this new die. And I just think this is so cute. All right, we're going to quickly look at this card and how I did a few of the elements before moving on to the third card, which is probably my favorite. I have the little meatball here, and I'm going to just quickly color it with Vintage Photo. You could also just cut it from brown cardstock and call it a day. Maybe textured brown cardstock would be good too. But I'm going to come in with a darker brown. This is Scorched Timber. And I'm going to add a little bit of texture. Now I'm going to add some shading. Of course, the whole time I'm doing this, I had him upside down. So I was shading what I thought was the bottom, but it was actually his head, or the top of his head. But now I'm coming in with this waffle flower little detail brush. It's round, and I'm just kind of dotting this ink on here to make it look like a meatball. All right, now we're going to add a little bit of detail to the card panel. This is the Lots of Circles stencil. This came out a few months ago as part of a Christmas collection. I think it was maybe from Lisa Horton. But I kind of wanted to, I don't know, give the idea of sauce. So I'm coming in with Crackling Campfire, which is a very deep orange. So very quick and easy stenciling. And then I'm coming in with another one of my waffle flower brushes. This is the 3+ shader brush. And I'm just kind of flicking in this fired brick, just so I don't cover all of that orange with this red. I just want a little bit of that red in there. So I wanted to just do it in the corner, and then I decided to also do it in the upper left corner. So you'll see that right here. And here are the little guys. I put the little chef's hat on the meatball, and he has some sauce on top of his head. And now I'm just adding this cute little enamel dot to the tomato. Now I did cut the tomato from solid cardstock, and then I did add some shading with that fired brick just to give it a little bit of shading. So you can definitely use colored cardstock. You can use white cardstock and color it with ink. So here is the final card, and they are so cute. Now I will say that I had bigger plans for this card that just didn't come to fruition. And you know, sometimes that happens, but I had planned on the tomato holding a fork with some spaghetti on it, but I will do that for the next one. I think this whole collection is so cute to make just easy, simple, just clean and simple little note cards. Just so many, I'm going to use a pun, so many possibilities, right, with this collection. All right, let's take a look at this card. This is my favorite. This is a slimline card, and it measures 4 inches by 9 inches. And I have colored all of the pasta with that Altenew Peachy Glow ink again. That was that lightest ink. The scallop circles behind the pasta come from the Scallop Journal Cards die set. You'll see the die off to the left. I think there's at least 1 or 2 other different size scallops in that set. And I used this little die here to create these rounded sentiments using the new stamp set. That little die comes from the Punctuation Icons die set. I think that was from the Just Sayin' collection. So I stamped these little sentiments in different colors of ink to match the little scallop circles. Now for my arms, I am just positioning the pasta where I want it, and then I glue my arms underneath before attaching the pasta. And to attach the pasta, I'm then going to come in and add some foam squares to the back. And for this pasta, I decided not to add the legs. And this one cracks me up. All these pastas crack me up. I haven't decided which one is my favorite. Now for the eyes on these guys, I wanted a more muted pink for the cheeks. And then I used brown for the mouths. And by the way, this awesome pattern paper is from the Say Cheese Classic Pooh collection kit. Came out last year. That's obviously where I pulled my color inspiration. Oh, and by the way, the glasses on the little guy on the bottom, those come from the little hedgehog set that just recently came out, the little hedgehog that has the ice skates. So I thought that was really cute to use those glasses. All right, now I mentioned at the beginning that I was going to show you some cards that I'm working on with another collection. This is the Happier Hour collection. You might remember the Happy Hour collection from last year. It had a martini glass with Christmas and Halloween add-on sets. Really fun. This new collection has a margarita glass, there's a wedding set, there's an ice cream set, and tons of great sentiments. You can probably guess which elements on this card came from the margarita set. Just so much fun. And the Feliz Navidad comes from a new International Holiday Sentiments collection, which I think is going to make a lot of people very happy. And then here is a birthday card that I am working on with another one of the Happier Hour sets. My favorite, the ice cream. By the way, I will be sharing both of these in an upcoming video, or maybe 2 videos. This card features a really fun distress oxide technique, so I'll probably have that as a separate video. But anyway, these releases this month are so fun. There are several other collections that I have not mentioned, but I will be sharing this month. So I hope you will tune in and definitely check out what Spellbinders is up to. I have links below to my blog and to everything that I use today. I appreciate you being here as always. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.